To improve battery life on the Motorola Edge 70 Pro, what you can do is, first of all, we can open settings. We're gonna begin by going to battery settings, and here I'm gonna start with the battery saver. Of course, battery saver is a great tool that allows you to temporarily extend the battery life, which is very helpful in a situation where you cannot charge your phone at a given moment and you are running out of the battery. So of course, whether you use the standard or maximum battery saver, you should be able to get more time. For the maximum battery saver, we can also choose essential apps that you have access to while using this mode, because only some apps can be used with the maximum battery saver. And also you can turn off 5G, which is of course also quite helpful. But the intended purpose of battery saver is not to actually use it all the time. It is more like a additional tool or feature that can be used to temporarily increase the battery life to that with the feature that disables some of the stuff on your phone just to make sure that the battery can last a little bit longer before you can charge it. So only in a situation where you cannot really charge your phone, but you want to make sure that you can keep your phone alive, and this is when this mode comes in handy. There is also the schedule and reminders option where you can set up automatic battery saver. I mean, you can choose when the battery saver should be automatically enabled. For example, if you set it to 20%, whenever your battery drops to 20%, you will automatically start using the battery saver, and then you can also turn off at 90%. However, this option cannot be adjusted, and also you might not even be able to use it in case you have the 80% battery charging limit enabled in the settings, which I'm going to mention in a second. So then this option becomes pretty much useless, and you have to manually disable battery saver. Now, let's talk about the battery usage over here, because here you can also see which apps drain your battery, which is also a great way to deal with battery being drained. For example, here we have the list of apps, and also we can tap on specific period to see exactly what can be done in order to improve the battery life. For example, over here I have this app that is pretty much always running in the background. It is used to have an animated wallpaper, and of course this is why it is draining the battery. Naturally, it needs resources and it needs power to actually keep running the video over and over and over again, and this is why it drains the battery. So if you have a similar app, then first of all you can of course just stop using it, or you can restrict the background access. Of course, as a result, certain apps require the permission to be run in the background so that they can function properly, but some apps don't really require that. So of course this depends on the app, and you have to make a choice individually and to decide which apps don't have to be running in the background all the time, and which apps have to. So then you can of course make a decision. Now, besides that, instead of using last 24 hours, you can also switch to last 14 days, which will give you a bigger picture, I suppose. Besides that, we have the battery protection. So this is where we have the 80% battery charging limit, and the reason why it is 80% is because batteries are built in such a way that nowadays they just work better if they are being charged only to 80%. I mean, these batteries can last longer by doing so, at least in theory. So this means that you should stop charging at 80%, and this is why we have this feature that stops charging for you. And if you are wondering when you should start charging, then the answer seems to be approximately at 20%. Now, there is no clear answer to that question. However, it actually depends on the manufacturer, because they state different percentages, but it seems that the average seems to be like 20% or so. So I guess if you drop the battery to 20%, it is the perfect time to start charging. Now, also what is worth mentioning is that you should avoid dropping the battery all the way to 0%. You should never fully discharge the battery. You should always start charging before you completely run out the battery. This seems to be the crucial way to keep the battery in a healthy state for as long as possible. It is pretty close to the 80% thing, if not even more important, because apparently this is what you should do with batteries. You should never actually run out of a battery. You should always start charging before it is completely before you completely run off the battery. So you can keep that in mind. Now, of course, we have two options in here. We have Smart Schedule, which uses the AI to create a charging pattern or to determine the charging pattern. So if you have a charging pattern, if you always charge your phone at the same time and you stop at the same time, then of course after some time the phone can pick it up, it can gather some information, and then based on that it can stop charging at 80%, but when it knows that you are about to unplug the charger from the phone, then it's going to charge from 80 to 100%. So this is definitely a very useful feature, but only for those who actually do have a charging pattern. For those that don't, we have Manual Schedule, which if you set it to always, then you pretty much are always using 80% limit, which can be annoying to use for many people, but this is of course the most optimal way. And there is also specific hours which allows you to set the 80% limit, and it is going to work only when you decide to do so. So for example, here we have the start and end time, and during that time I will be able to charge the phone only to 80%. For the rest of the day I can charge all the way to 100%. So of course you can adjust that to your needs. Of course this depends on when you are actually charging a phone, and then you should be able to optimize the battery and use battery protection. Of course, it is recommended to use battery protection to protect it from overcharging, to keep it in a healthy state for as long as possible. However, at the same time, battery aging is inevitable, and sooner or later you will of course experience dropping the battery capacity, and of course in the battery info you will see the battery health status dropping. This probably won't happen within like the next month or maybe even the next half a year or so, but definitely at some point you will notice that it starts dropping. There is also the charge boost option, which is pretty much the fast charging option. I know that some people believe that fast charging ruins the battery, so if you believe so, then of course you can just not use this option, but if you don't mind, then of course you can turn it on. Apparently it is optimizing charging, so it should be better to use it. So of course you can turn it on, but if you have something against it, then of course you don't have to enable it. And there is also the adaptive battery, which is enabled by default, and I don't think there is any reason to not use this option, so just make sure that it is enabled. Alright, now besides that we can also go through various visual changes, various different visual settings to, of course, optimize the battery usage, because some options, when they are enabled or disabled, they can use more or less battery. And of course, most of these things are in display settings. Like here we have the adaptive brightness. It is of course recommended to use it with adaptive brightness, so you will use less battery. And of course, if you can, you should keep the brightness level at the lowest value possible. Of course, I'm not saying to keep it at, let's say, 1% all the time. That's not the point. The point is to use as little as you need to, as long as you are comfortable and you can use your phone normally, simply because the more brightness you use, the more battery is, of course, used as well. But at the same time, like I said, you don't want to drop it all the way down to like 1% or something, because then it will be very uncomfortable to use the phone, and that is not the point, and this is why we have the adaptive brightness. There is also the dark theme, which uses less battery than light theme, so you can consider turning it on, or you can create a schedule, so the dark theme can be automatically enabled and disabled at a given time, so this is useful if you don't really like the dark theme. We also have the display refresh rate, and of course over here we can use up to 120 Hz refresh rate, which provides smoother animations and just in general better visual experience. But we can also limit refresh rate to 60 Hz in order to save the battery. Now over here I also have to say that we don't really want probably to use 60 Hz, because that's not the point of purchasing a smartphone that has 120 Hz, especially if you start using 120 Hz, it's very difficult to switch back to 60 Hz. But still, I just have to mention this option because it also has a pretty huge impact on the battery. So of course, I just have to mention it, but still, even I personally would not really change that because I just don't really like using only 60 Hz. But like I said, I just have to mention this because, well, it does have an impact on the battery. It saves the battery if you set it to 60 Hz, so it has to be mentioned here. Besides that, we have edge lights, which also have an impact on the battery, so you can of course turn it off if you don't use it. Then we have the screen timeout. Ideally, you want to use 15 or 30 seconds, and this is the most optimal choice, or these two options are the most optimal choices. And there is also the adaptive display, which allows you to keep this screen on while you are looking at it, which is of course very useful and very great to use because you don't have to keep tapping on the screen, but at the same time it uses more battery because the phone pretty much uses front camera all the time to see if someone is looking at this screen, so naturally it's going to drain the battery. Now, besides that, we can also go to home and lock screen option over here, and then we're gonna choose lock screen. And in here we have the sleep display, which also uses more battery, so if you don't use sleep display, you can just turn it off. There's probably no need to use it no need to keep it enabled if you don't actually use the sleep display. Other than that, a couple of settings that are also worth mentioning. For example, here in location, if you go to location services, you can disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth scanning. In both of these cases, these options don't have to be enabled, and I don't think there is any real drawback of turning them off. And whenever there is an app that requires you to have these options enabled, then you will be informed about it and you will have an option to quickly turn it on, and then of course you can turn it back off again, and it's going to save a little bit of battery for you. Also, you can go to Google to open Google services over here, and then switch to all services, and then you should be able to find usage and diagnostics, which you can turn off over here. This will help you save a little bit of battery as well. I think this is pretty much all in the case of settings. However, I have to mention just a couple of more things. For example, if you use something that is running all the time in the background, so I mentioned that slightly when I was talking about managing apps that are running in the background, but still I wanted to kind of repeat that. If you use something that is running in the background all the time, like for example here, the animated wallpaper, then naturally it is going to drain the battery. So you have the choice between, having a more fun wallpaper, well in this case, or a static wallpaper, but you can also save the battery. So while of course these things are cool, they also drain the battery quite a bit, so you have to keep that in mind. And of course this applies not only to like animated wallpapers, but like I mentioned, everything that is somewhat running constantly in the background. So you might consider uninstalling these things or disabling them. And also I have to mention something that might be slightly silly to mention, but I generally believe it has to be mentioned, and that is all of these different connectivity features like Wi-Fi, mobile data, Bluetooth, NFC, location, and so on and so forth. All of these things don't have to be enabled all the time, so you can remember to manage that, to toggle it whenever you don't need to use it. For example, I right now don't have any Bluetooth device connected, so there is no need for me to have Bluetooth on. I can just turn it off and it is going to save the battery a little bit. Of course, whenever I want to connect a Bluetooth device, if I want to use it on my smartphone, then I can just turn it back on. So my point is to not completely avoid using these features. My point is to turn them off whenever you don't use them, and of course turn them back on whenever you want to use them, and you can. This also applies to stuff like Wi-Fi, as I mentioned. So for example, if you are outside of your home, if you don't have any Wi-Fi connection, then of course there is no need to keep Wi-Fi enabled. You can just turn it off, and then once you come back home, you can turn it back on. So I think that's pretty much it. However, if there is something that I didn't mention in this video that you think should have been mentioned to improve the battery life on this phone, then please let me know in the comments. And if you're watching this video, check out comments. Maybe you can find some more tips. And that's it. Leave a like and subscribe.